What's up, Land Golf Academy members and guests? Today we're going to take a look at Anne Van Dam, and damn, she has a great swing. And we're going to look at a driver from face on down the line. We're going to do a quick video analysis, and then at the end of the video we're going to pick one or two things that I want you to watch and take note of, because she has beautiful rhythm and timing in her swing, and sometimes we overlook that because that can help generate some immense clubhead speed. So make sure you stay all the way to the end of the video, and if you do like this, please hit that like, share, subscribe, comment, as your support really helps us grow the game in Cape Flat, South Africa. And thanks for those on the screen. But enough of that. Anne Van Dam, you've got a great swing. Man, if I could bottle this swing up, I'd be sitting on a private island somewhere sipping on a Mai Tai. This is probably one of the most fundamentally sound golf swings I've come across in quite some time, and it's going to be quite a joy doing a swing evaluation on this swing in particular, because there's not a lot going on. We will break down this cause and effect and show you how she generates pretty good clubhead speed. But I want you to take note is look at that tempo. So her downswing doesn't look like she accelerates until just before she gets to the golf ball, and then she makes all of her effort after. And in an interview, she was asked about clubhead speed and the effort of your golf swing, and she hit it right in the head. She said, you do not want to take your backswing fast because you run out of energy. You've wasted all your energy by the time you get to the golf ball. So what she tries to do is basically just turns her shoulders nice and controlled, and she doesn't start accelerating through the golf ball until she feels like she is at the golf ball, and that is key. It helps you get a long extension, it helps you utilize your turn, it helps you utilize your weight distribution without jumping all over the place. But enough of that, let's just watch this a few more times because this is poetry in motion. But let's break down the cause and effect of this swing, and I want to show you some things that you can look at, and this all revolves around her setup. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, once again, setup is the key, ball position is the key. Let's get going. Okay, so we got the usual lines of right side of the screen. Let's take a look at the shoulder tilt and also the center of her chest. It extends right through her hands, and guess what? It extends at that golf ball. So if we do a 90-degree angle from her golf ball to her shoulder tilt, rough estimates, you can see it's probably just inside that right shoulder. Most of us get that golf ball at the right shoulder out here. I've seen other ones outside of the right shoulder because we get a little forward press going on with our hands. Now, the problem with that is you have to now tilt an extreme amount, rotate to hold that angle, and that is something I do not recommend, specifically for us average golfers that play once or twice a week, if we're lucky, because you are not prone for injury because your body type probably does not fit the mold for that. So if you want to emulate something, as long as that golf ball is on the inside of your shoulders, 90 degrees to your tilt, there is less angle to retain, and you can just turn and tilt naturally. Weight distribution, look at the evenly placed feet. Now, I'm under the impression when I work with my students is to talk about shoulder width from the inside of the heels. I like to see that. So do we have a shoulder width inside of the heels? You can see it's close enough. It's a little bit outside on that right shoulder, but inside on the left shoulder. So that's about shoulder width. I'm always in favor of that because it gives you more stability, specifically with the driver. Now, keep in mind, if it's too wide, you'll start to sway. If it's too narrow, you won't be able to have much weight distribution. So again, this is all your personal preference and also your body type. Left side of the screen, we can see Barney Purple. He has to make an appearance every video, and we draw the Barney Purple line from the arches of the heel straight to the sky, and it meets right where the lower plane line is and her spine angle line, which is running right through the center of her body. And that to me is a beautiful centered golf swing. We don't see too much toes, we don't see too much heels, and once you found your centering, now that right hip can work around the centering more efficiently, and you don't have to fight that centering and make compensations. And we'll see there is very little compensatory motions in this golf swing. Now keep in mind the left camera screen does shift. Whoever's taking that video, move the camera a little bit to the left, so we will see some spine angle loss, but in all reality, she does not lose spine angle. She maintains it, but we'll keep that in mind. Now, we're going to take that club to about halfway back, and let's take a look at what's going on here. Right side of the screen, we can see a nice wide as you can turn without reaching, and that's another thing I want to mention, that when I see amateurs try to get this wide turn, I see them starting to reach, but the key is, can we just stay in our centeredness? And we see that head is still in the center while we maintain our turn. The key is taking that right hip and moving it straight to the target, so you feel like you're turning from your hips, and as long as you keep your arms out in front of you, they should stay straight. Now again, this comes down to the elasticity on your left side of your body. Is it flexible enough? And you have to listen to your body. If you start to pull out of your elasticity, you are going to start to lose posture, and that is going to cause a compensatory motion, and we don't want that. We just want to make this golf swing simple. So listen to your body. body as much as you can turn without losing your posture. That is the goal. Left side of the screen, we can still see that nice triangle still formed. Hands are always going to be at that center. That's just a true sign that she is staying basically in her posture while her wrists are hinging and she's turning. As we move on up, we can see the lower plane line. Look at that golf club right on that lower plane line. Hands are right over the center point. Now she can just feel like she is lifting it straight up. Now she does this with a little bit of hand separation. So at the top of her swing, we can see she still has a triangle, but I never passed algebra, so I don't know what that triangle is called. Is that an acute triangle? Somebody in the comments, please educate me if that's an acute or obtuse. I don't even know. I'm a golf pro, but as long as that right hand does not veer on the right side of this triangle. So we don't want a triangle that looks like this, because that is not ideal. That is manipulation on the way down. So as we go all the way to that full turn, we can see a nice high hand height. That means that it is still nice and straight with that left arm. A beautiful shoulder turn. Look how much their shoulders have turned. And ladies and gentlemen, that club is nowhere near to getting to her tee. So even if she stayed connected to her turn, her club would be down to here and it would still be relatively okay in relation to the shoulder turn and tilt. But if we back it up, now if you start doing that, what can happen is this club weight will start to tip you over. So I see those hands getting too much involved and the upper body of the amateur start to lean towards the target. That's exaggerated, but you'll get the point. Now all of a sudden you are swinging down unless you tip back up. So this is where kind of the reverse pivot happens. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. But look at that spacing. That spacing is key because those hands are higher. But are they too high? Let's look at the left side because they're not too high. Look at the hands. The hands are just slightly back of the center point, which is perfect for a driver. That means you can have spacing to drop it down and get to that lower plane quicker. And we take a look at where the butt of the club is. It's on her top plane line. If she was a robot, now I'm not saying she's a robot, but she is pretty close to being a robot with this swing. It's so perfect in my eyes. Now let's look at that famed Line Golf Academy triangle check. What color should we do it in? Let's go with blue since we don't have blue. We're going to draw from the butt of the club to the elbows, and we're going to draw a pretty good triangle there. That's pretty my best triangle I've drawn in a while. We're going to draw it right down the center point. So that is the path of her hands. Let's see how successful her path if she just drops it naturally like she says she tries to do and then accelerate through the ball. Let's look at that path. Look at that path. Look at the butt of the club. It actually stays on this side, so she drops it much quicker, which is great because now we get that club to shallow out. We know that new term, and it drops right down in that lower plane line. It is meeting that lower plane very quickly, which is great. That helps because it has a deep turn on the way back, and when we shallow it out, the club goes right through her right forearm. That is almost as perfect as you can get. Now keep in mind, there are some camera angle issues because this person is standing relatively close. We would like her or him to back up a few feet and go a little bit left so we can see that club right on plane. But for the sake of this video, it is right where we need it to be. As we keep going on the right side of the screen, we can still see that obtuse, acute, whatever that triangle is. It's still fairly connected to her shoulder. That's a horrible line. Good thing I am not a designer because my houses will be falling over. So that's still pretty good. She is rotating around. We can see that angle lag. Look at that lag. That is just phenomenal. You can only get that when the club is slotted correctly and you're not trying to save yourself. If that club was a little bit higher, she would have to manipulate the body to either stand up or release the hands, create some room. So look at that angle retention. This is huge. Now let's back up a couple of frames here on that right side of the screen and look at where the power V is. So when we draw a blue line straight through that left shoulder, we can see that her power V is pointing backwards. Now this is key for her because she's establishing this so she can swing up. Now that's the key for the driver. We don't really need this for an iron, but for a driver. So we don't want to get our whole body over to that long red line because now all of a sudden we're going to be increasing our tilt and you're going to be swinging down the ball, popping the ball up, which I do many times than not. But once you take a look at that left knee is going to go right on that line. Bam, it met that line, but that's where she's going to stop. And all that is pushing from the right foot to the left heel to transfer that weight. She's getting her spacing from that right brace line. So we see clear indication of her moving left, her body weight. But from here, watch what the head does. The head will actually start to tip back to get her back to where she was with her upper body. And this is the great thing about the body, is it always finds a way to stay centered as long as you are trying to stay centered and not fight your own weight. So now she is swinging up to match that lower arrow. Her upper body's falling back to match that spine. Beautiful. And once we come on through, now we can get some release and we can see that left leg getting closer to that impact line. But watch, just past the impact, let me clear up these lines here and so we don't have so much confusion here. But guess what we're doing? There's the right shoulder, left shoulder. There's the hands. And where are they? Bada bing. I don't know why I just said that. We can see that the hands are in front of the chest. A nice full extension. Again, you need a certain body type, so I don't expect you guys and girls to go out there and do this, but it's just really cool to see how simplicity of a golf swing can make it more efficient. And as we come on through, right shoulder's going to get on the impact line. So now we're on the impact line. We don't get there so fast, ladies and gentlemen. Don't jump to that impact line. You're going to change your angle of attack. You're going to change your launch angle. You're going to increase backspin. You're going to flub the ground. You're going to top the ball, and you're going to start playing ping pong. So let's go to the top of the swing one more time and look at the weight distribution. So now the right heel is coming up. We should see the left toe rise up, and bam, there it is. So what's happening to the lower body? It's pushing which way? This way. So the upper body can clear and go under and slightly right. And what that does is allows the hand path to kind of move left as we strike the golf ball, because she has a lot of spacing. Her lower body got out the way, so she's still maintaining her plane. And we have an idea of this because the hands are still left of that club face, which is extremely powerful. Now we come on through, we see the exit path. Look how straight that is to that upper plane line, and a beautiful extension. We see the increase of right shoulder tilt, and we come on up. We're standing a little bit out of our posture. She returns back to her spine angle from her setup. So like I said, this is poetry in motion. And if you do like this, hit that like, share, and subscribe. The whole goal of this channel is to educate you to understand cause and effect, and don't go copying people's swings because it's probably not going to fit for you. Actually, scratch that. It is not going to fit for you. You have to work with a certified golf pro in your area to help you out. But let's just watch that beautiful tempo. Bam! You see that effort level comes just at impact right there to past impact. I want you to try that at home. Just doing that, I promise you, you might pick up an extra 10 to 15 yards because you're now conserving your energy through the golf ball. Remember, this is a golf swing. It's not a golf hit. Most of the time we try to hit the ball and we throw from the top instead of just turning and letting the golf ball get in the way of our beautiful, fundamentally sound golf swing. So that is your April resolution, is get some fundamentally sound motions to help you hit the golf ball further, straighter, keep you away from golf professionals to help you. But enough of that. I will see you next time. Fairways and greens.